Warzone Season 2 Reloaded is coming out tomorrow, so that's Wednesday. It's happening at 4 o'clock UK time, and I'm going to be streaming it all here on YouTube, so make sure you subscribe, turn your notifications on, get notified when we go live, because I think we're going to be doing an Easter egg hunt, and I'll talk a bit more about that later in this video. In this video, I really want to focus on all the different changes to Warzone, but let's just talk a little bit about zombies and multiplayer first, because there's been one interesting change that's not confirmed at all, but I kind of think it could be something cool. So in the multiplayer mode, they're adding a new thing called Arms Race, which is a 12v12 thing where you've got infantry and vehicles, so just like combined arms, ground war type thing, on this big new map, Alps. Now, when we moved from Black Ops Cold War to Vanguard, we knew we weren't going to get Outbreak and zombies, and that was because there weren't any big maps. You need those big maps with vehicles and stuff like that. Could Alps be the setting for a new Outbreak mode? I don't think this is like definitely in the plans or anything like that, but I'm a little bit hopeful that that's something that they could do. Vanguard Zombies has been terrible so far. Like, I really hate it. I played the new map once, we did the Easter egg, and then never wanted to play it again. They've talked about the changes coming in Season 2 Reloaded, and it's like, there is a pause button if you're playing solo, and you can only do it for 2 hours across an entire game, which sounds like a long time, but some of these people who go on for like hundreds and hundreds of rounds, that's not particularly useful to them, because, you know, they want to be able to sleep while they keep their high round thing paused. But anyway, Zombies isn't doing so great. I would really love it if they made something like Outbreak, or just copied Outbreak entirely, and put it on this new Alps map. That'd be a lot of fun. Outbreak's a really cool mode that you can do with people who aren't really into zombies, so if you just got like friends who want to play something a bit different, you can just hop into it. It doesn't take a lot of explanation like a normal zombies map does. It's pretty easy, pretty relaxed, but you can have a lot of fun messing around. So I'm hopeful that Alps means that we might get something like Outbreak, but obviously that isn't something that Activision or Treyarch have said at all, or Sledgehammer. I don't know who would even be working on that, but yeah, I'm hopeful. Anyway, let's talk about Warzone. So with Warzone, the big changes are all coming to the Rebirth Island map. They're doing this update for it, I guess kind of turning it into a World War II setting, which is a bit weird because they've still got a helipad there, and I'm pretty sure you didn't really have helipads in World War II, but let's ignore that for now. They're changing 3 big points of interest, and they're making big changes to them. So the first one is security is becoming Stronghold, and on this area, you've still got the same basic layouts. You've still got the garages on the left, a helipad in the back left corner, and that round bit on the right, but now you've got this massive checkpoint building at the front, and you've got this bigger tower at the back. Adding new towers is always interesting, so that means they've got big sight lines all the way up the coast, so it's going to be interesting to see how that changes things. And this does have quite big implications for the Easter egg, which I'll talk about later. Then we've also got docks has changed. I've talked about there being 2 ships, but in the picture I can only see 1. Maybe I'm just being stupid. But there's new ships that have been added. That seems like quite a minor change, but when you think about the idea that that's actually pushing the kind of edge of the map out a little bit, that means people on that ship now have a sight line up and down the coast, particularly to the back of a lot of the rooftops around the edge of the map. That's normally a place that me and my friends would sort of like sit on to heal up and stuff like that while we were sniping at people. So that's a kind of interesting thing, that now there's going to be an extra place where people can get a decent sight line that makes those rooftops less safe, which I think is probably a good thing for the flow of the game. Then we've also got the prison courtyard. I've seen some people saying that this isn't a big change. I think this is probably the biggest change gameplay wise. Prison courtyard used to just be a wall around an empty area. There was a buy station in there. It was super dangerous to go to because there was so many places you could get shot from. Sometimes your loadout crate would fall in there, and that was dangerous. Now they've made it so there's this kind of covered walkway all the way around the edge. In the middle there's some tents and stuff, so more looting opportunities, more cover, that's good. But the covered walkway is really interesting because it's kind of up on the top of the wall. It's got a lot of good sight lines all the way down to the coast, which is interesting, and because it's covered, people on prison roof can't shoot you. Now I think that's pretty huge. The idea that you've got this kind of safe way around there that people who are on prison roof won't be able to get at you from. I'm not sure if the cover will be enough to stop things like cluster strikes, but it might. I think this is going to be quite powerful. I think this is going to be a good place to go, and it's going to change the flow of that area quite a lot. Now, aside from the map changes, we've also got Redeploy Balloons, and this is huge. Redeploy Balloons, not as powerful as they are in Caldera, they're not going to go as high up as that, but Rebirth is so small, you'll probably be able to get to most places. I think this is a big deal because this is going to mean you can get onto prison roof super easily. Lots of people know that Rebirth Island, one of the things I've heard people complain about Rebirth Island, is that prison roof is a massive power position. If you can get up there, there's not that many different routes up there. There's loads of cover up there. Often you can hold it for the rest of the game if you get there at the beginning and clear it out. Now with this, it means that rather than just having those couple of staircases and the zip lines and a gondola to get up there, instead now people are going to be able to use the redeploy balloons while they're fully kitted up and fly in wherever they want. that's massive. Like, that's going to make a really big difference, I think, and it's going to be interesting to see how people use that. It also means when you start seeing the zone closing in, when you start getting towards the final zones, if you use these redeploy balloons, you're going to be able to reposition really easily, which is something that can be quite tricky in Rebirth Island. There's a lot of verticality into it, but with the redeploy balloons, you're going to be able to get up onto those rooftops quite quickly. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing how that changes the game. We've also got the weapon trade stations, which are an interesting idea. This basically means that you can trade in your gun, you can give up your gun, and you'll get one back for lower rarity, but you'll also get some items to make up the difference. So if you trade in some normal items, you might get something rubbish, but if you trade in something like a legendary weapon, you might get something like a specialist token, and that's huge. Specialist tokens are amazing, so that could be something that a lot of people do, is try and find those legendary items just to trade them in. And it makes even the rubbish legendaries useful. Like, I was watching that Tim the Tatman video where he did the one chest challenge the other day, and he got a legendary sniper rifle that was terrible. It had like a bugged scope, but he could have traded that in at a weapon trade station and got a specialist token, which would have made that more than worth it. So that's a really cool change. I'm quite looking forward to seeing them. I don't really know where they're going to be, but they look very cool. We've also got 3 new modes coming to the game. Rebirth Payload, Rebirth Blood Money, and Rebirth Resurgent Solos. I'm not really sure on the timings of when all these are coming out, but Rebirth Payload is basically where you're escorting the trucks around like we had in Verdansk. Going to be interesting because there's not many roads in Rebirth Island and they're quite short, so I think this will be quite a short game, and there's lots of places you could shoot down onto the trucks, which might make that really hard. Rebirth Resurgent Solos is interesting because Resurgence, normally it's all about respawning on your teammates staying alive so you can respawn for free. Obviously you don't have teammates in solos, so instead there's a timer. So the first time you spawn, when you start the game, you just have a free respawn ready to go. After that, anytime you want to respawn, you need to make sure your timer has counted down before you die. So I think Inkslash said in his video that he spoke to some developers, it's like a 30-second timer, which means as long as you don't die in that 30 seconds, you'll get another respawn token. But you can reduce that timer by getting kills and doing contracts and stuff like that. I'm not sure if the time will stay at 30 seconds or if it'll get longer as the game goes on. When it gets to final circles, obviously respawns are disabled. That's going to be interesting. It means there's going to be loads more people staying alive in Rebirth. Really high kill games, I'm sure. Lots of action. Really good for people who want to level up guns and stuff like that. I think that could be a lot of fun. We've also got a Rebirth Reinforced event, which is just one of these events where there's like a little bit of story attached and a bunch of challenges to do. One of them is about just getting loads of kills on Rebirth Island. Not that interesting, but it is cool that there's a shield skin in it, because we don't see many shield skins and they always look pretty good. So I'm happy about that. I've also seen some things from the people that got to speak to developers that apparently there's something like a mobile buy station. So some item you can get, we can throw it down and get a buy station. That's pretty cool, especially somewhere like Rebirth Island, where when you get towards the final circles, there's not many buy stations left. That could be a huge thing that could change the game. You know, you throw down a buy station and then buy your friends back. That could be huge. So it'll be interesting to see how that works. I'm not sure if that's coming like at the beginning of launch or whatever, because it's not on the roadmap or anything like that. Another big change that's coming to Warzone, but not on the Rebirth Island map, is that they're going to get rid of the Vanguard Royale playlist. They're going to roll some of the changes from that into the main Battle Royale playlist, so the increased health is going to be there. But all of the other changes, I'm not really sure how it's going to work. Are we going to have the bombers still in there, the fighter planes, the helicopters with guns on the side? Like, what air vehicles are going to be in there? I've got absolutely no idea. It's going to be interesting to see what that happens. I don't have very much information on that. I've just seen what's been posted around on Twitter from the people that were speaking to the developers, from Charlie Intel and stuff like that. But yeah, that's going to be interesting. I think it's kind of a shame. I much prefer Vanguard Royale. I much prefer only having the Vanguard guns rather than all of the guns from Modern Warfare and Black Ops Cold War and Vanguard. But we'll see how it goes. I'm sure it'll end up being fine. I'm a little bit gutted that they're taking it out though. Now, obviously the reason a lot of you are here probably is the Easter egg. Now, there's 2 reasons to think that the Easter egg might change. The first one is that if you look at Stronghold, 2 of the places where the old codes for the Rebirth Island Easter egg have gone. So there's a sort of shed at the back of it on the right, there's a code underneath the stairs there, and then there's this kind of shed with some wood on the roof of it, there's a code underneath the table in there. Both of those are gone, which makes me think they're at least changing the Easter egg. Not necessarily, because to be honest, they have changed Rebirth Island before and spoiled a bit of the Easter egg. At the moment, if you get the briefcase and you've got the photo of the cement mixer on, you can't do the Easter egg because the cement mixer is in construction, which doesn't exist anymore. So that's kind of broken, and it's possible they'll just keep the same Easter egg and it won't work if you get either of those 2 codes now, or 3 of the codes now don't work. Also though, Inkslash has said when he was talking to developers, they kind of hinted that there was going to be some kind of new Easter egg, that there's going to be something, either an Easter egg or a story-related thing, and they don't always use the wording Easter egg. Sometimes they call them like story quests and stuff like that. So he said he wasn't sure if it's going to be there at launch or come later or whatever's going to happen, but I'm definitely going to be there Wednesday, 4 o'clock UK time. I'll be streaming here on YouTube, trying to find out with my community, trying to be the first ones to do it, like we were with the Rebirth Island Easter Egg one before. That was an 8-hour hunt when we did that. It's one of the best Easter egg hunts we've done. It took ages. It was loads of fun to map out. It's still one of the most fun Easter eggs to do. So I'm really hoping there's a new Easter egg with this update. If you want to try the old Rebirth Island Easter egg, today might be your last day to do it. So I'm going to be streaming later today from about 12 till 4 or 5 UK time. I'll be taking viewers through the Rebirth Island Easter egg, trying to get as many people as we can that Red Room blueprint, the Milano blueprint. That's a lot of fun. I really like that gun. We'll be seeing how much we can do it. It's one of the hardest Easter eggs, so it'll be interesting to see how we're doing it. So check out my stream here on YouTube if you want to see that.